Man, leading EMI, served over 20,000 youth through speaking, coaching, and mentoring. He has inspired us for years. Welcome to EMI TV Podcast with your host, Calvin T. Mann, the Encourager.
Yeah, stay tuned on the tracks. I'm not letting up. We will not let up. So, welcome to those of you who join us, who support us, who believed in us, who follow us, who cared for us. Man. Who walked with us, who built and build with us. Yes, welcome to EMI TV. We're gonna keep this legit. Today is EMI's birthday. EMI stands for Encourage Me, I'm Young. Today we celebrate, share stories, and bring you in deeper into the blessings of Encourage Me, I'm Young. To the community, to the children, to the families, to this walk, this purpose, this journey in the building. I have the queen in the building. Heather Miller is here, and my brother Dave is here to walk with us. And I'm going to kick this off with a great story, right? And it literally, I've told many stories about where we were, who we were, right? And the difference and the different in the mindset and wanting to do things and, right, the places we've gone from the apparel aspects, right? So I've told 6 stories already on Facebook, right? I've told many stories, from laying the shirts when kids are getting killed, the whole nine. So I say all that to take you on a real tale, right? Encourage Me, I'm Young. As I told the story before, I was in a daycare center. The daycare center was all white kids. Racism and prejudice makes me sick. The condition that we are in right now, where you can't even post or share without having to identify, that is sad. My friends from Oakland County who, because I'm in the city, right, they act a certain way. And my friends in the city, because I have relationships with my Oakland County, they act a certain way. So I was working at Northwest Lines. Here's a great story about racism and hate and division that I have to share. Today is the birthday of Encourage Me, I'm Young. I'm blessed. I'm very grateful for this journey. It has saved my life. Not just the kids, not just the work, but it has saved my life, right? But, working at the airport, Northwest Airlines, and we had division. And the real division is where you go to school at. right? And what is being taught. I had this conversation earlier with Heather, and I was expressing the difference, right? We have a lot of people who leave the city to go get a suburban education. It's a suburban education because our kids got to fight to go to school in the city, those types of things. And you have quality education in the city. It's not to say that we don't have quality education. What I'm saying is that the prejudice, the division, the racism, the black power, the white power, all of that bullshit, right, is a problem, because now you have to decide as a person. And often I am torn, even down to the marketing, how you got to market, and you got to do these things, right? Because who you're going to market to, who's buying your product, right? And you got to do it over here, and you got to make sure this, right? And you're talking to graphic artists, and you tell them, okay, I need one more. I need one for the African American, right? Because we got to represent the African American family. I need one more, right? And one got to look this way, right? So this is what happened. So we go all the way back, 1992. I walk in an all-white daycare because I wanted to understand why we called each other the N-word. Right? Young man, barber, doing my thing. Here I am in this daycare, asked to work in the daycare. There are no black children in this daycare. But I'm watching and I'm observing and I'm doing this evaluation because I'm watching what's the difference in the parenting, right? What is the difference in the parenting, right? And what's the difference in the kids? Do they raise their kids different, right? Are they kids, right? Because again, this is what we stuck with. Like this is what I have to deal with, right? And it makes me sick, So to really go in depth into this story, I was invited by several of the children who asked their parents to let me come to their home for dinner during the time I'm in this daycare. Kids, they don't see it that way. They don't see that dynamic, right? So the parents, because of the kids' request, the parents say, okay. Right, so I'm at these people's home, right, and nothing. Typical household, right? The difference was education. Well, if you're in a black educated home, nothing separates this, right? It's just the same dynamic, right? So I'm going, wow. We messing up somewhere. So this is before God even encouraged me. I'm young. This is what's on my plate, on my mind. I'm coaching at Ferndale High School, and I'm on my off days at the shop with my sister. Me and my sister had a shop on 9 Mile in Ferndale, and here we are on my off days, Mondays and Wednesdays. I work in this daycare center, and I'm coaching. Now, mind you, I wasn't taught this. So I'm torn often. So another kids, right? The kids, we put the kids to sleep. Make no difference in the children. Put the kids to sleep, right? We come up and the conversations we had. What is really you? I think you, because you really want to say that you really carrying this never had the conversation on racism. We were having conversation about kids, how we can get these kids to another level, and what's the difference, right? Because I can't understand why we do this to each other. So I'm taking this information, I leave, I go, and I'm coaching at the high school, and this is heavy on my heart. And so then while I was in school, I go back and I revisit all the treatment from elementary all the way across. I revisit the treatment. And what happens is in elementary, I had 2 teachers. In middle school, I had no teachers. When I was at Bovian, got in a fight, right? All of that. Last day, got to leave. We're leaving the school system. My mom taking us out. I come into Best Middle School. At this time, Roots is on TV. I don't have too many issues. So one guy, Phil Young, decided to copy off of what he saw on TV by using the N-word. We had this big old fight by the water fountain. We was on TV. We was on football. We was playing football, right? But we had this nasty fight, right? I was fighting because of that word and what was being poured into me about treatment of those that may look like me. So here I am again. I'm sick because I'm not being taught this. Is not being taught in my home. My mom is not teaching this. My mom and my grandparents and my uncles and all, they're teaching accountability and responsibility. Right? So I got to go get these books. I got to write. I had to go to the library, so I had to write these reports outside of school for my mom, right? So I got to go to the library. Now, mind you, it's 7 of us in the house at this time. 5 boys, 2 girls. Dad gone. Right? We got the whole block lit. It's ours. I get into this school, and the whole environment changed, and I'm able to learn. I couldn't learn fighting every day. Got to worry about some type of gang or, right, setting the garage on fire. I couldn't learn in that environment. I got to wear a certain thing. I got to do a certain thing to be, and I got to go to school, and it's lunch fights. We fighting each other, right? I come into this environment. It's, hey, how you doing? Right? It's a completely different environment. I'm learning. Oh, wait a minute. You want me to sing? I can sing? Yeah, I can sing. You can sing here? Yeah. Talent show. You know, all that. Right? And I go on, my life, I go on, and I learned something. So that takes us back to the daycare. Make no difference in people, because people will make difference in themselves. They will eventually display themselves, who and what they are. Right? So we make no difference in people. So, make a long story short, one day, I'm sad about all I've been through. And I'm sitting in this chair, and the door blow open, and the words encourage me, I'm young, that come through the door. And I sit up, and I'm lit. Oh, that's incredible. Immediately behind that, the young lady who was also working in the daycare, her sister walks in the door, and she's in the art. And I say, hey, this is fresh off the bell. I need you to draw a box and put everything in it for kids. And put these words around it. Oh, everything. Art face, everything. Play, piano, whatever you can fit for children. Put it on this, in this artwork. I then call my uncle. I say, man, God just gave me these crazy words. He's like, what is it? Because my uncle, very creative poet, you know, the whole nine. As a matter of fact, he wrote the Encourage Me, I'm Young poem, right? And so I'm going, wow, which we going to bring that shirt right back out, right? So I'm going, wow. What you think, Uncle Don? He's like, man, that's cold. I said, let's take it to the team, to the kids. So we got the program. You know, I come in, we got practice. We say, hey guys, what y'all think about this shooting shirt? What you mean, coach? Yeah, we talking about doing this shooting shirt would encourage me, I'm young on it. Oh, the kids, they light up. So we got an idea. Right? Trav and those guys and a bunch of other kids, we got these ideas, right? So Carpe Diem was our practice uniform. It was on our practice uniform. Seize the moment. Seize the day. Right? That's on our practice uniform. Our basketball practice looked like college practice. So we got college coaches sitting in watching our basketball practices. Right? We take, and the kids come up with a quote to put on the back of the shirt. And at the end it says, "Encourage me, I'm young." That's how you see the quotes on the back of the shirts today. It was the kids who started. Impacting the school. Went from, you got 45 kids trying out from a basketball team to 125 kids trying out for your basketball team. They just wanted to be a part of the message. You had haters in the office, right? Telling the kids they can't do this. You had parents. One time they used a scripture, take up your wings and mount up, right? Old school. And one of the parents, Jewish parent, right? She mad about it, right? Well, hold on. They called me in the office. Wait a minute. Whoa. What's the deal? The kids picked this. They selected it. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't this the Old Testament? Oh, now you real mad. See, I kind of rub people the wrong way sometimes. One, because I'm confident. I'm very confident. Yeah, but I'm very confident. I got a lot of swag about who I am, no matter what I do. So I don't bow. I don't fold, but I am human. And I say all that, right, because that is how we got here. It was them kids. Them kids right now, still today, the same method that we use for future leaders was used back there. And today, look at the numbers. Right? In-school suspension. I had in-school suspension at the high school. Right? I got the in-school suspension. In-school suspension had 6 chairs in the classroom. It ended up being 36 students with no arguing, no fighting, no disruption into the cafeteria whatsoever. Kids doing their homework, sending down the homework, getting the work done. Kids just wanted to be a part of it, because the model or the way they were being treated was different. So I say all that, I say all that to say, Encourage Me, I'm Young was given to do the very things that it's doing and to create change. I didn't hang on this since 1992, and then 2007, we got 14 years as a nonprofit, and the numbers is astronomical. And thanks to Heather, I know the numbers by pulling it out of my head, because it was going to stay in my head between Heather and Crystal. They had to pull. This entire movement was in my head. So today we celebrate Encourage Me, I'm Young, because it is a powerful force, and we will continue to do the work. Miss Heather.
Wow. Well, thank you. Happy birthday, Emmy, and all of those previous board members, all of the volunteers, all of those who did charitable giving, all of those who lifted this organization in prayer, because that is part of the change that takes place. As we look at this journey of Emmy, I would say that I started out in 2009 when I met Calvin for the first time. And I met Calvin. He was both in his president role as the president of Emmy he was also in his fatherhood role because he had his children with him when I met him. And he came into the office that I was working in. He said, I heard you on the radio. I heard that you could help us. And so when I looked at him, I looked at his children, and I got it. I got it from him walking through the door, saying that we have to do something to help our children. And you could see it in his eyes as a father that he meant that. And he didn't just mean his own children. He meant all of our children. And all of our children has no discretion in where you were born and what race you are and who your parents are or any of those dynamics. That is not what defines Emmy. It's not what defines the brand or defines the work and the movement of who we are. And so since the elevation of Emmy and the vision being shared among especially those of us who are here in the studio today, but this organization is designed to be an impact that is bigger than the spaces that it fills at this time. It is meant to evolve and expand, and I'm going to share with you what that looks like. Just a glance at what the movement of Encourage Me I'm Young really looks like. So Encourage Me I'm Young, although its history has been rooted in youth, it has been rooted in working with boys. The vision, the big picture of the organization is really about the restoration of families. And so as you see us transform over these next 6 months as we wrap up our 14th year, you're going to see the bigger picture of Emmy as the movement. And Emmy as the movement is made up of really 5 key cornerstones. And so you haven't had this opportunity to see it this way yet, but you're going to start seeing the bigger picture because it is time for this expansion and for others to see how truly important that this vision really is to our communities and to the restoration of our families. So the movement of Emmy, that's Emmy Inc. as the organization, is about the restoration of family. Those cornerstones, those 5 cornerstones are considered our vibrant communities. It is considered our awareness campaigns and movements. It is considered our mentoring programming. It is considered our, mentoring, I'm missing 2. Our in-school work, so our in-school leadership work, and it's also our, I'm forgetting the last one.
Awareness.
We did awareness, mentoring, in school.
Apparel.
Oh, that's the last one. I'm sorry. Thank you. The last one is the brands. All of these different parts of the cornerstones of the bigger picture about restoration of families. One of the reasons why, or 2 of the reasons why we press and push our brands, the Emmy brands also include Good Fathers Only. It includes the I'm Possible brands, and it includes the Emmy brands. So part of the reasons why we push our brand is, one, that it helps fund our work. It's been the anchor and the consistency in our support over these 14 years is the brand. And the second way that we use the brand is when you see the brand on someone or somewhere in the community, maybe it's our billboards, maybe it's on a flyer, maybe it's on someone's chest, maybe you see it on a hat, maybe you see it on a wristband. Wherever you see that brand, it is designed to bring a sense of connection and community to you. It is your reflection. If you own an Emmy and you see someone in an Emmy, that is a connection. That is a common ground that you have. What you're saying when you wear Emmy brands is what you're saying is that you are a part of the restoration of family. You are a part of the mentoring. You are a part of the leadership. You are a part of this whole movement. The awareness campaigns that we have, which is our National Respect Day, our Smash Suicide. Those are 2 huge awareness campaigns that we have. You have to be here to be able to support our children. When we talk about our children are our future, that's just not a statement. That's an action. That's an investment. And we have to do better as adults in investing in our children. We're losing them in a lot of different ways, but having them out of our world is unacceptable at any age. It's unacceptable as adults. It's unmanageable, unbelievable, and unacceptable as children. We cannot lose our children to suicide. We just cannot. And we cannot stand by and allow that to happen. And so if we're talking about restoring families, you have to have those males and females who make up those families, who birth children, to create the communities that we want to see now and in the future. So our mentoring programs, which is more of the prominent or premier programs that we offer, it is the most visible and the second to our brands. This whole movement is about the restoration of family, and you have to seed that restoration. You seed that restoration through having healthy boys become healthy men, healthy husbands, and healthy fathers. There is order that is important in our communities, that somehow we've gotten away from the order of things. And once things get out of order, that means it leaves chaos. We are seeing the results of chaos in our communities. We have to restore the order, and we do that through seeding that process. We do that through seeding it in intervention. We do that process through seeding it through prevention. Good fathers only emerged out of the need for fathers to mentor boys throughout this process, for fathers to come in to be part of this process. Because as a father figure in your community, you could be a godfather, an uncle, a brother. You're needed. You're needed for boys to model healthy men. You're needed for women to connect to healthy men, because healthy men help healthy women become stronger. Healthy men, healthy women raise healthy children. Healthy children become part of a healthy community. Again, the restoration of family. And that is the bigger picture, the bigger vision of what you see when you're a part of EMI, when you're a mentor and you're a donor and you're a change agent or contributor or a champion. A champion for EMI is someone who has a voice, who will speak to the importance of the restoration of family, the importance of mentoring, the importance of our awareness campaigns, the importance of a vibrant community. That includes our business community. That includes the entrepreneurs. That includes our idea makers. All of those dynamics are included in our cornerstones. And so hold your thoughts. Put a pin in that as you start to see more about and you see more present in front of you, more information about EMI and EMI as a movement, not just our mentoring programs. There is a lot more to us under the surface that you're going to be exposed to over these next 6 months, because we need you to understand the big picture. And we also need for you to understand that this is not just a local idea. This is a movement that was meant to happen, and all of those who have been given this vision are a part of that. So wherever you are, it's time to start making those phone calls so you can start filling out those applications, going through our mentor training, our mentor academy. If you're a male father figure, godfather, we need for you to go through our mentor academy. We need for you to become who you are called to be. If you are called to be a mentor, you need to be calling us. You need to get the training in our EMIY of how we operate. We need you, and we need you to be present. So I just wanted to make sure that I had a chance to share the big picture as we go into our celebration of EMI today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dave, it's the stories. The stories are incredible, right? But I'd like for you to add before I tell another story. You know, old McDonald had a farm, brother.
E-I-E-I-O, here we go. Yeah. I would say that when you think about mentor, the first three letters is men. And you got women and you got men. And I always looked at mentoring as being an individual who would elevate, motivate, encourage, and sponsor someone, male or female. But our focus is to try to help our boys. Boys can't become effective men unless they have a strong foundation. And it's important that we give them, as you say, a life that has meaning. And a lot of kids, when we talk about suicide, I always used to teach in the military, people don't want to die, they want to get rid of pain. These boys are in pain, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they're compromised. And so when we're allowed to do what God called us to do, which is to build family, it's important that they have these resources, such as EMIY, to be able to understand what family means. Sometimes we use terminology, but we don't have clear definition to it. And they be so vague and so diluted that it doesn't have the cohesiveness that it needs to support itself. So when you have organizations like EMIY, we teach meaning. We give you a definition. And this allows for the young people to be able to identify with something. As you said earlier, you know, the kids just want to be a part. Usually that's the way it is with kids. They don't have all the distortion until they get a hold to the adult thinking. And usually the adult thinking comes from distorted history. So trying to get them early when we talk about mentorship is so important. So as they move into as they're in their present moment and moving into their future, their history won't be so distorted. Because if you don't address that history, you carry it in your present moment, and you may not see your future. So EMIY allows for our young boys to be able to see a bright future. EMIY encouraged me, I'm young, but EMIY future leaders. And leadership is about influence. So if you got the wrong kind of leadership, that influence is going to take you in the wrong direction. This is what EMIY is allowing these young boys that we work with in a couple of years I've been with you guys, is allow them to see a future from the influence of the positive models that stand before them. And because they have a positive model, they now have a vision. Because I always like to say, what does it look like? You know, if you tell me, I want to get a Cadillac. Okay, what does a Cadillac look like? Well, what does a good man look like? What does a leader as a male look like? What does a father look like? This is the foundation, what I've gathered through the vision of what EMIY is all about.
So I was a little chubby boy. And thank you, Dave and Heather. Right. So I was this little chubby boy on 8 Mile and Prairie who could sing, dance, right, talk. Sonny Man, who just passed away, gave me the nickname Fat Jive when I was a little boy, right? 10, I broke off from my brothers and them and started shoveling snow on my own. Worked at the corner store, ate the old Dino's Pizza on 8 Mile, went and learned to turn pizza dough. Always on the move because I come from 2 parents. Both of them were Virgos. So I got a double dose. And very, very talented. But they were caring people. Right? I say all the time, all my brothers, right, and sisters, the relationships that they have with people is phenomenal. Right? So when it came time to, right, because I've been around music, because I know a lot of people don't know. People who went to school with me really know that I really get on with this music, right? And now I got permission to really let it fly. And sometimes it's never too late, right? And then I had, you know, did an album. Me and my brothers did an album together, performed in front of a number of people. In the 12th grade, I had my own band. Right? In the 12th grade, I had my own band. Drummer, lead, my man, Keith Zentler, who do community work. Right? We were all in this band in high school. Performed, senior, like, that deal. Most thought I was going to go into music. I had no guidance. No one took my hand. And the thing that hurt me the most is what led me to here. Right? And so this story is watching your son kind of do the same thing you did. Has all this talent, right? But doesn't want to use it for that, right? So, I get with Clarence, right? I see a video. I say, who's doing that video? Is Clarence where Clarence at? So, reconnect with Clarence. He's living out in Northville. I get out in Northville. We're out in Northville. And I was like, man, let's just make a beat, right? We in this room. And we started playing around with GarageBand, and we come up with this beat, right? And it instantly, I say, play it again. And I lay back on this bed and I sit up. He play it again. I sing the whole Encourage Me, I'm Young song, hook and all. Never wrote it on a piece of paper until we went in the studio to record it. Sing the whole EMIY song, Encourage Me, I'm Young. Hook, words, all the way done. I know nothing of what just took place. But I leave because I got to go get my kids the whole nine. A couple days later, Clarence called my phone. He like, dude, did you listen to the song? I was like, no. He's like, you might want to go back and listen to this song. My wife over here crying. I said, for real? And I was sitting in front of the house. And I put the song on. And it was amazing. And the words go, there comes a time when you can't tell no more lies. The child that you love can see it in your eyes. Over and over, you continue with this mess. Your child is under a lot of pressure, and we all have lots of stress. Encourage me, I'm young. Take your place by my side. Encourage me, I'm young. Take my hand and be my guide. True story.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna record that. I'm not stopping. So the video is gonna come right behind. We've got the help, the whole nine. Mm-hmm. So that's just another one of those Encourage Me, I'm Young songs. But I think Heather, right, dressed it up a little bit. When I walked through the door at Vanguard that day, my passion, my misunderstanding of what was happening to me, my children, the issues and the problems that was taking place in my life, the problems I had at my job, all of that walked into the door with me. Going beyond that, just the repercussions of the things I had did also was on my ass. Because we need to understand that we're going to pay for actions. Right? You might have thought you was getting away with it. As I said before, oh yeah, you might, you know, you hear women say all the time, I'm the better cheater, right? Women cheat better, right? No, the evidence. God gonna expose you one way or the other. It doesn't matter if you didn't tell me. You will be exposed one way or the other. Doesn't matter. You are gonna reap, right? And so, as I'm talking to Heather, I'm crying, bro. Full blown tears. Like I could cry right now. I'm crying. I've been trying to get this out of my head because it's not letting me rest. At that time, I was having 8-9 quotes a day. I was writing stuff wherever I could write it. Had a little red book, still got it. Right? Whatever was coming out. And the truth is about Encourage Me I'm Young was in each session until I officially opened my mouth in 92, let me go see. Curiosity. What's the difference in our people and the people? Right? This doesn't exonerate slavery, criminality, police brutality, murder in the neighborhood, hits on your people. This doesn't exonerate no one. You're all sick. You're all sick. No one, while you pointing the finger at one culture, you're all sick. You all are demonized and doing things against people. Right? And so, when you go through that process and you come out and, man, what is this? Okay, what you want me to do? And then you hear that voice. Over here was curiosity. Now you got to hear that voice. And people like, man, come on. I'm sitting in the car with my man. Got my name braided in my head. I say, we. He like, what, Cal? I'm like, man, did you hear that? He like, what? I'm like, oh, man. I started taking the braids out of my head. He was like, I said, man, I ain't never heard that. He like, Cal, you tripping? I said, yeah, okay. You better listen, because I ain't never heard that. Right? Bro, took them braids out my head, got out that car, and never looked back. Started laying shirts with kids was getting killed to bring hope. Just think about that. Let's take in 14 years of work, and we've done it all. Scholarship fair with Better Detroit Youth Movement. We've done it all. We continue to do the work. Right? Period. But murder hasn't stopped. Murder hasn't stopped. We haven't stopped killing kids, raping kids, kidnapping kids, selling kids. Right? We look at all of the problems and try to address and point it to one culture. You're going to point that all to them? And in the meanwhile, the underbelly is getting all your money, and while you ain't paying attention and you can't collaborate because you're not teaching unity. Right? And you need to protect. We need to protect, right? How do we protect our children? 41, I said the other day, 41 million are in the child support system, right? Child Protective Service come get these kids. Over 40,000 kids sitting in the foster care. You still turning up. These your kids. But you want to, hey, right? Over here, you got all these other things that everybody's doing. And what is missing? We're still having conversation where we don't even include the father. I saw something the other day was so disturbing. It really blew me away. You have a conversation about what is wrong with us, and you talk about us in this conversation, but you talk as if I don't even exist. I'm not even here. You speak to like you're really speaking to me that we need to do certain things. But when I bring the validity of manhood and the voice of a father and things, that wasn't what you was talking about. You wasn't even including that. So when you're talking and you're talking about solving problems and you don't cite fatherhood and you don't include fatherhood or you don't include the man's voice, you're going to constantly repeat. You're like that mouse on the trap. God did something cold when he gave men seeds. Now you can dance around that all you want to. You could talk about it. Men they paying a heavy price for abuse and all of that pimping and playing. You paying for that. But guess who paying the bigger price? Your children. See, when we talk about the oldest profession and we talk about prostitution and things like that, and right, you got strip clubs and you got all these things that's happening, right? But there's no cover. Look at us. We have no choice but to do this work. No choice. Just take out the rotation of what we have done since 2014. Take that out of rotation. What would it be? I'll take you to the story, and then I'm going to shift because I know we don't have much time. And I'm going to take you to the story. The lights went out. Kwame Kilpatrick was the mayor. The lights went out in the city. 2 little girls was crossing the street. The big sister was talking to the little sister. They were on Schaefer and 6 Mile. And like today, a car comes through. The little girl, the oldest girl, sees the car, snatches the little girl, and pushes the little girl out the way to take the hit. And the oldest girl is gone. No lights. See, we don't want to talk about those things. But there were no lights for these babies to just cross the street to go to school. I'm up, it's 5 o'clock. I'm devastated. I'm in between decision. And I go. And I go to the house, and the light is breaking. In front of the house pulls up as I'm placing an Emmy shirt in the door for the family. I close the door. I turn around. Here comes Channel 7. I hear the door open. The mom comes out in her nightgown and jumps into my arms, sobbing. The father comes out. We're all huddled. Channel 7 is sitting there. After we let go, she asked me, Channel 7, she asked me, can you get her to have, she doesn't want to talk. She went in the house. It's apparent she doesn't want to talk. They closed the door and went back to their pain. Me, I get back in my car. I got to live with that. That's one of 640 shirts. And that was only the number because I started counting. We got a problem. We got a real epidemic that lies within our culture that we have to change. You can't ask the same people that created this problem to help create the problem to help solve it. I'm not asking for permission to do this work. So we do it. That's why the numbers is what it is. And frankly, what's my man from all day? Frankly, my George, I don't give a damn. Miss Heather?
Clark Gable.
Clark Gable.
Now we in my era, no?
Well, thank you, Calvin. I know how painful those stories are for you and for the families that are attached to them. The song, when you released We Got to Help, I think that song should come with it a whole new era of what I can do. And what I can do is within each one of us to do. We have been given insights. We have been given warnings. We have been given models. We have been given tools. all of us, each one of us is equipped to do our part. Whatever that means, if that's a donation of $5, if that's standing outside watching, making sure our children get to and from school safely, if that is picking up trash in your yard and your neighbor's yard and on the sidewalk and the curb, we have to change the culture. And what I mean by culture is the behaviors, the things that are acceptable and are accepted. That creates culture. In your family, on your block, we create culture. It's not just based on your race. It's not just based on your beliefs. It's bigger than that. But you have to agree to be a part of a culture. When we talk about how people have left the inner city and left the community, they left for a different culture where something that they want or believe in is accepted and acceptable. You leave what is no longer accepted or acceptable, or you change it yourself. I'm committed on my block to pick up the trash no matter how many times cars pull up in front of my house. I live off of 7 Mile and Southfield Freeway, so you know the traffic is pretty frequent there, right? No matter how many times people pull up in front of the house, drop wine bottles, liquor bottles, masks, trash, food bags, no matter how many times they do it, I'm going to make sure it's cleaned up. Because it is unacceptable to me to have trash in front of my house, my neighbor's house, across the street. It's unacceptable. And so we change the culture of our block by making sure it's kept clean. So when people come through, they're like, think twice about dropping the trash. Think twice about what they can and will do and what's acceptable to do on the street that we live on. We have lots of pedestrian traffic, lots of people walking up and down the street. We have a liquor store on the corner. We got Church's Chicken on the corner. We got the gas station. We got a lot of stuff going on in that area. But the fact is that we are the ones who accept what we see. When we start to change it by doing something, not just talking about it is not enough. It is the thought, it is the word, and now it is the deed, it is the action that manifests the change and the culture shift that we want to see. We change the culture. Stop waiting for somebody else to do it. It is the message. It is the bloodline of everything that you believe, Calvin, is about the thought, the word, and the deed. If you put your word to something, and people who know you know this about you, when you put your word to something, you're going to follow that word by taking the action to make it happen. Dave, if he puts his word to something, he's going to follow through. The action behind what he does is going to manifest. This is how we change. Don't wait for somebody else to do something else. You do what you can do, and then start the change for our culture.
Amen.
Brother Dave?
Well, I concur with what y'all said, just to save time, because I can get a little long-winded. But I will say this: we have shifted. When we needed more, we did more. I'm a 60 baby. Actually 50 baby, but I grew up in the 60s. People had very little, but there was unity. There was community. And there's a distinction between race and culture. Race is your characteristic, your external characteristics, really. So what are you? You're black. That's external. But culture is internal. This is what we build upon. And we have lost the meaning of culture, the value of it. So, again, people back in the day, they did everything you talked about. Matter of fact, you swept the ground, which was no sidewalk. You said there was no pavement. There was dirt. You swept that. You go in a neighborhood, it was clean. When I came back home from Iraq, actually Kuwait, I come back home, it looked like a war zone in Detroit. There was an old commercial come up with an Indian. The Indian, because it was so nasty, the Indian shedded a tear. I shedded a tear. I said, this don't look right. This was not white folks coming into your neighborhood doing this. This was us. But see, what happens with each generation, families try to give the next generation more than what they had. But we talk about privileged mentality, and we always associate it to white people. But while we have the privileged mentality, and therefore we don't value what we have, because we got it. When I grew up, this day and age, kids drive around in Maserati. These are cars that could buy my mother's house 5 times. And it was a blessing to be able to move in the neighborhood, especially 7 Mile. A blessing. Now people take it for granted, and we don't give the same value. So we give our kids all these things, and then they don't appreciate it because they don't have no value to it. So now they don't do more because they think they don't need more. I have arrived, but you have not arrived. You just showed up. And so I'm going to close with this. Faith without works is dead. This is what she's talking about. We put the action. You can have faith, but if you don't know action, it's in vain. And you can have action, but with no faith, it's in vain. We have to bring the meaning of culture back. We have to recognize we still need more, so we got to do more.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, there are a lot of us that are back. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of areas that are picking up that prosperity and leading. We just got to do our part, which is what we're doing. That's right. Encourage me, I'm young, right? METV. And so we're just going to do our section. Ease. The word ease. Easy. I want it easy. I got to have it easy, right? Ease. The greatest of ease, right? I don't want to have to work hard. I don't want to have to go into this element and right. And then you hit a term, they work you like a slave. Right? But you ignore the fact that you're getting a skill and a paycheck. As Dave said, you act privileged. So you don't value or appreciate time. You notice where time doesn't become a value. So your money doesn't become a value. Your customer service is not a value. You're just here to get the money, or you're just present to get the gift. I say that because you want to earn everything. You want to work hard for it. You want to go for it. You want to plan it. You want to execute it. But just as Heather said, you want to put your words, deeds, and actions moving. There's a reason the windshield of your car is bigger than the 2 mirrors on the side of the car and the rear view mirror and the rear window. You can look out that back window through this very little mirror. It's called the rear view. I look up and I see what's behind me, but I got to concentrate on what's in front of me. What's in front of us is a 10-city plan to the restoration of family. What's in front of us is that capital campaign that we got going right now. We came to the community. We do our work in the communities. We make sure that our work is appreciated through our children and our boys and our fathers. And so we continue to move forward. But remember this, as the next level approaches, so does your goals change, and so does that level become tougher. I'm made for it. God made us for it. And I thank you for your time. This is METV signing off. Remember, put your family first. Stop hating on each other.